One of my favorite forms of entertainment when I was a teenager growing up was when the city boys would come out to work on the farm. Dad always could use a little extra help out there, and Mom never wanted me working out there in the fields and in the barns and all that. She wanted me to be fairly close to the house, working the garden and cleaning the house and that sort of thing. And so she told Dad that he needed to hire some help to help him when it came time to get the hay in. Now, that didn't stop me from going out and helping when she wasn't around, but I didn't want her to catch me because, boy, there'd be hell to pay if she caught me out there working around the barn when them fellers is out there. So Dad would hire these fellers to come out there to help, and I'm using help in the loose term of the word. Lord have mercy. I remember some of the things that them fellers used to pull make Dad so mad. And there was this one that he had there one evening, and he sent him down the road to a field we had down the road and to plow. And he had the plow all hooked up to the tractor. He says, "Now you go down there to that field, you plow it up, because I'm going to milk the cows while you're down there doing that." So Dad was out there milking in the barn, and feller had gone down the road with the tractor. And I saw Dad come out of the barn, and he walked around to the edge of the barn, and he's looking down the road there towards that field, and he's looking. So I get to looking too, and that tractor's sitting still. And Dad gets in the truck, and he pulls up there toward the house, and he hollers at me. He says, "I think he's broke down there." He says, "I'm going to go down and see what's going on with him." I said, "All right." So Dad took off down the road he went. Well, a little while, the tractor comes back up the road with Dad right behind it in the truck. And then the boy gets off the tractor, gets in the truck, and Dad takes off again, comes back, no boy. And I went out and I said, "What's going on?" He says, "I took him home." I said, "Well, what's wrong? Is the tractor something wrong with the plow or something?" And he says, "You won't believe what I found when I went down there." And I said, "Well, what happened, Daddy?" And he says, "He was sitting on a big old rock at the end of the field." And I asked him, "Is it broke down? What's going on? You're sitting here." And he says, "I'm taking a break." He says, "Now, I've never seen anybody in my life that had to take a break from sitting on the rear end on a tractor." He says, "So if he needs to take a break so bad, he can take his break at home off the clock." Oh, Lordy. And then he had another one that didn't want to listen to directions, and they was baling hay. And when you come up out of the field with the hay, you had to make kind of a sharp turn to get around the corner to the barn. And Dad had one helping him out there that did not want to take directions at all. And Dad told him, he says, "Now, you have to make kind of a wide swoop with this wagon hooked behind the tractor to make that turn, because it'll be kind of sharp if you don't, and you're going to horse around and wreck the wagon." "I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing," the boy said. Well, he gets up there at the edge of the field, makes a sharp turn with that wagon load of hay hooked to the back of that tractor, flips the wagon over, hay goes everywhere, it lands on the electric fence, breaks the electric fence. So now there's a mad scramble to get everything fixed and, cleaned up, hooked back up before the cows figure out that the electric wire's down, or they'll be out in the wrong field, and awful mess will be made. Tractor, the tongue is broke out of the wagon, so they've lost a wagon for the hay baling. Hay is everywhere, and Dad's mad. And it was hard to make my dad mad, but when he got mad, Lord have mercy, you better clear out. And there was one that had to sit out the rest of the hay baling while the rest of them worked. Dad didn't have time to take him home or nothing. He says, "No, you just sit there. I don't want you moving. I don't want you off the spot. You stay right there, and you're off the clock too." He says, "You done tore up the wagon, and you don't want to listen to direction, and I ain't putting up with it." Oh my. Now, there's a lot of them. They didn't want to pay attention, and they's always loafing and horsing around. Dad had a heck of a time with them. They didn't want to mow the hay back, because it was hot up there in that mow, you know. But Dad paid boys real well for helping. And at the end of the day, you know, that we took a tub of hot water and some soap and towels and stuff out, let them clean up, get the hay chafe off of them, and then we'd feed them. We had all kinds of cold cuts and bread and condiments and stuff to make them fancy sandwiches and stuff, and salad and potato chips and all kinds of things for them to eat. So we took pretty good care of them boys if they work and do what they're supposed to do. But Lord, some of them, they thought they knew it all.